Happy New Year! This is The Art of Life, and I'm your host, Willow Chang Leon, and we do broadcast live every Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. here in the heart of downtown at Pioneer Plaza. Did you miss me? Because I'll be frank, I missed you, it's true. We were dark for the holidays, but prior to that, I was traveling in my home away from home, dear sweet Switzerland. So hopefully, as we did with last year, I'll have a recap and share some of the things that I learned on that trip and some ideas that I think would be nice to introduce to Hawaii. However, today's show is a little different. So keeping with the impetus of being excited for the new year with a fresh start, a clean slate, an opportunity to recharge, or as I like to say, reboot your 2015, I'm going to share with you some images and some ideas, things that are prompts that you might want to implement in your own life or share with others if you think they might need a boost. And who doesn't need a boost? So I will just say the thoughts and viewpoints expressed here are not necessarily those of Think Tech Hawaii, but solely of mine and my life experiences and all the great people I've met along the way. So now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to be going off with some of my notes. I'll share a little bit about my philosophy. So one of the things when you grow up in Hawaii that's really stressed here is the paramount importance of humility, which I personally think is very important. Humility is something that can be a tool to keep us grounded. It can help give us perspective. It literally can keep our feet on the earth and hopefully your head from getting too fat. When you have too much humility, because everything is in moderation, it can prevent you from doing the things that you need to, or you may not be as assertive as necessary to do the task at hand that's needed of you or desired. So everyone has to calibrate and find out what their balance is with humility. But I think that the pursuit of excellence, the pursuit of setting goals or trying to improve on things in your life doesn't necessarily have to stem from a dissatisfaction or the ability to not be happy or to be insatiable, but it actually can be an act of humility because you're asserting that you understand there's need or room for improvement. And Lord knows, we all can use a little improvement. I'm no stranger to that. So like many of you, I make my little laundry list. I actually write mine out. Sometimes I type it out. Sometimes I type and I write it out. Sometimes I share it with people. Sometimes I keep it to myself. So I think the most important thing is when you establish some types of goals, the most important thing is that you are. So it's very easy to be cynical and say, oh, New Year's resolutions are meant to be broken, and 2 weeks into the year, I've already had it, I've already broken my resolution, I ate all the Christmas cookies. But you know what? The thing is it's a process, and anything that is worth your time and your energy and your effort will take time, energy, and effort. It's not necessarily immediate, and if you can invest in that process and be open to it, hopefully you'll be able to glean the lessons of what's going on. Okay, so the omniscient voice of God said something very exciting, so I'm wondering, is it my fabulous bib that distracted y'all? Is it the mirrors? So I figured I might as well just start off with this crazy necklace. It's not on my list, but it's pretty hard to miss. I know that when I was walking across the street to come to the show, a lot of heads were turning and they're thinking, what tribe is she from? Well, this is called the tribe of do what you wanna, let your freak flag fly. But technically, this is a necklace from Afghanistan, a kuch, or a tribal. Tribal is such a very vague term. It means everything and nothing. It's up there with ethnic. But handwork, there are tassels, there are beads, there are mirrors, there are motifs of the clover and the heart. I am sure there is some significance to each of these. That's my little homework project because I have some books on this. I'm going to try to find out about this necklace because I'm a nerd and I like to know the backstory. And in between the detail work, there are actual cloves. Sometimes you might know them stuck into an orange for a pomander, or maybe like my mom, she stuck it in Spam and tried to dress up a Spam. So there are cloves. It has a nice fragrance. But I digress. This necklace it's jubilant, it's joyful, it has history and culture imbued, it's made by hand, so therefore I would say somebody's mana, their energy and their life energy went into the creation of this necklace. It makes me very sad to think that, oh, the reality is when there's an interaction with contact with the outside world, however you define that, a lot of times the cultural traditions that are indigenous seem to somehow be diminished. So they would rather have a Tiffany floating bean by Elsa Peretti, beautiful, different, than something massive like this. And there's a tendency, but don't quote me on this, usually in jewelry work throughout the world, when you move into cities, the work becomes smaller. It's not necessarily more detailed. It's erroneous to think that small always is detailed. But when you go away from the cities, there's a tendency for the jewelry to be much larger in appearance and in size and volume and weight. So you might see like Fulani earrings that are like really, really big, but then maybe you're a little city slicker and you're wearing something that's the same earring, but that got really, really small. So those are one of my little passions there. But when I put this necklace on, the idea behind it is not only letting your freak flag fly, but you're breaking the rules, because let it be known, I am travel size. I am a person who is petite and small. And one of the things that you will hear if you are both petite and or small is every style guru will say, always wear small jewelry so it doesn't overpower you. And to that I say, baloney. Baloney, baloney, baloney. If you want to wear a necklace that takes up most of your body, be my guest. You just have to know that people are going to look and wonder what tribe you're from. But, you know, that's the thing. It's a little thing. It may seem very insignificant. For the ladies, it might be wearing red lipstick. For the gentlemen, it might be trying a vest. It might be putting on pants instead of shorts. They sound like superficial things, but the reality is that clothing is a reflection of the self. It's a reflection of ourself and how we relate or how we want to be presented. And we're always in the state of flux and change. And so why do you feel that you have to wear the same lipstick that you wore 15 years ago, or the same hairstyle that you were wearing 20 years ago, unless that's your signature look, unless that you derive some great joy from it, confidence, and it's just you and it works for you? I'm all for that. It's a process. You have to find what works for you. But I would say one of the things you might want to do to reboot your 2015 is look at your closet, look at your makeup, look at your hair, look at the shape of your eyeglasses. You know, I have a feeling that there are certain things that will really tell you where you're at. That's the type of your sunglasses or eyeglasses, right? You want them to be functional first and then stylish. I'm not a total slave to style. If you own a leather jacket, sorry for our vegan friends out there, that tells a lot about you. The cut of your jeans, right? Mom jeans, need I say more, right? Gentlemen, pants with pleats. Unless you're going to be Dick Tracy or in some movie like that, you just want to avoid those pleats. Even if you're like with the NBA and you're tall and skinny, pleats on, can I say that? That's like a tongue twister. Pleats on pants are just kind of unnecessary. They don't really serve any function whatsoever. They're really not like a dart. So that's just my 2 cents. You can take it or leave it, but they're fun little ways to jumpstart and say, one of the things I did right before the new year, and I try to continue that process because I love me beautiful things, I went through my closet and I thought to myself, girl, it's going to be 2015. Do you really need this thing from 1987? Do you really need these pair of shoes from 2002? It's 2015. So what I did is I weeded out the closet. I put them into piles. Not everything, that would be a little too time intensive, but I pulled out things that I just don't relate to, that don't fit, that I don't respond to, that need fixing or mending or tailoring, or they just don't work for whatever reason. And then I sorted them. And this is, I'm not reinventing the wheel. Everyone can tell you this, from Martha Stewart to Oprah. This is a very common practice. You can separate them. You can donate them to the YWCA or your thrift shop, people in need, career day, girls who need prom dresses. There's always people in need of clothing is what I'm getting at. Things that you need to turn around and make a little cash. Maybe you try to pay off some of those Christmas bills, put it on eBay or do resale. That's always an option. Maybe you have some friends in need. They need something new and you have something and you're not using it. You can make their day. Sometimes you just have to give it the toss. I'm all about fixing and replacing things, but the reality is a lot of things aren't very well made today. That doesn't mean you won't pay a lot for them. They're just not, the craftsmanship isn't what it once was. So sometimes they're just going to end up in the landfill. I hate to admit that, but going through your closet is a really good thing. And if you are prone to being sentimental, there are ways to maybe allow that memory to linger a little longer than just in your brain. You can always take a photo. You could make a photo montage or take pictures of it. Or if you want to cannibalize it and you want to cut off that sparkly strap on your shoe and, I don't know, glue it onto something, make it a dog color. It's possible. It's possible, but that's something that you might want to decide. So the clothing, now that we're moving on, I think I'll have some images here that I'll just chatter about. Alrighty, I really want a pair of these. I think they're pretty fab. I would love to say I actually own these, but I don't. This is a great image I pulled off from the internet when I was thinking about wanting a clean sweep. And how joyful would it be to have a clean sweep if you just got the scrubbers right on your tootsies? A clean sweep is something how many cultures, they start the new year, is they clean that house. And cleaning your house is both literal and figurative. So cleaning your house, yes, mop down the surfaces, get the car washed, clean out the trunk, go through the junk drawer, look through your old medication prescription, right? Is that acne medicine, that Accutane from like 6 years ago? Toss it. Your sunscreen, is that from 2 years ago sitting in your car? Toss it. It's not going to work anymore. Do you have a toothpaste that you just hate the flavor and you never like using it? I'm sure you can use it to clean something else other than your teeth. You kind of get the point. Pony up with the white sale. Do yourself a favor. Buy the sheets that you like. Don't use those same ass, ooh, did I just say ass? Sorry about that. Don't use those same sheets that are tired and ugly and uninspiring. You want to make your bed a beautiful, inviting place that's restorative, so at the end of the day, you can dream and work it out and feel rested the next day. You want to make your house a sanctuary. Clean out that closet, clean out the junk drawer, scrub down the floors, wash the deck. But seriously, these are really good things to do, because you might find that the deeper work of going to clean house emotionally or psychologically, which tends to be a little more challenging, can be aided in the process of getting your house clean. You might feel a little more relief knowing that your house is clean. You can even start with something as simple as cleaning your book bag, or cleaning your handbag, or cleaning out your wallet. Do you really need those ticket stubs from 8 months ago? You don't. File those receipts, take out the ticket stubs, see if you have to renew your membership at JCC or whatever it is, and you're going to feel better about it. I think you're going to feel better about it. I don't even know you, but I think you are. So the clean sweep. I would include in this, going a little deeper here, things that might be considered toxic. Now, toxic is a word that wasn't just a hit for Britney Spears, but toxicity just basically is a poison. It makes you sick and it makes you ill. There are obvious things like lie that are going to kill you, and then there are things that are like emotional lie, right? So are there friendships that are historic friendships that have run its course? It's always painful. It is never easy, and I will tell you, I'm always the last person bailing water on a sinking ship. But sometimes, as this meme says, you want to breathe deep and let go of things. And I was telling a friend of mine today, if you think of it like seasonal fruit or seasonal trees, persimmons, I'm pretty sure, are not available year-round. And if they are, they're probably GMO'd and they're franken food. and then you lose something in the process. You have longevity and they don't have any flavor. Is a friendship or relationship like that, has it's run its course? It's sad, and you can find ways of mourning that. But you can also honor it and acknowledge it and say, hey, you know what? It was a really good run. I really enjoyed being part of the Boy Scouts. But now that I'm 45, maybe I can't be a Boy Scout anymore. And obviously, I'm not speaking from experience because I'm not 45 or a Boy Scout, but you know what I'm talking about. The other thing that really helps you let go of things is the act of forgiveness. I have no idea what they're doing outside of our studio, and I'm hoping that you can't hear that sound, but it's a rumble in the jungle. Anyway, we were talking about forgiveness. Forgiveness is often regarded as the foundation of the Christian faith, but let's be frank, everybody needs and benefits from forgiveness. So forgiveness often will involve an apology, and apologies, I think, require three things to kind of give them some significance. First of all, you have to be sincere. There's no sense in giving an apology if it's not sincere. You might as well save your breath. Save everyone's time while you're at it. You want to acknowledge what you're apologizing for, and then you want to suggest how you would like to change the situation or make it better. That's a full apology. That's why if you listen to when politicians offer apologies, they rarely do any of those things. That's why it doesn't feel like an apology. My 2 cents, not necessarily viewpoints and opinions of Think Tech Hawaii. So what an apology does and forgiveness does, or cleaning your house or cleaning out your car or your closet, is it gives you an opportunity to release blocked energy. And a lot of times what prevents you from maintaining the motivation to reach a goal or to be your best self is that you have energy that's blocked. So we have a fabulous image here. I have to reference it for those of you who might be unfamiliar. This is the age-old tradition of using sage, which here is housed in the abalone shell. I believe that might possibly be an eagle feather. I regret that you can't see the whole image because, you know what, it's taken from the internet. But sage is used to be burned and to purify and to cleanse a space, to release energy that maybe is stagnant and to invite abundance into your house. So we have to cut away to a commercial, but I want you to think about some of those things, how you can remove some of the blocked energy so you can be your best self. This is The Art of Life.
Hi, I'm Jay Fidel. I'm host of Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, which is our flagship show, which plays 4 to 5 p.m. every Wednesday. And the supporters of that show are Hawaii Energy Policy Forum and Hawaii Energy. And luckily enough, we have representatives of both of them right here today to tell you more about what they think about the show. Sharon Moriwaki at my left is co-chair of Hawaii Energy Policy Forum, and she goes first. Sharon?
Thank you. Thank you, Jay. I'm so glad that we have this Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy. This was 2 years ago when we started this, and we have continued it because it's so important, and there's so many developments happening across the state. And we hope you'll tune in every Wednesday, 4 to 5. It's wonderful.
And Ray is Hawaii Energy. Ray, what is your thought about the same subject?
Well, I agree completely with Sharon that we are talking about every Wednesday, 4 to 5. We talk about some of the most important subjects that are affecting the islands now and into the future. Energy, clean energy, we need it. We often run into new ideas that we had not thought about before. We did just today, and I think we're going to have more of that in the future. So come on down and watch us 4 to 5 on Wednesdays, and we'll see what happens.
We'll see you then. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha. This is The Art of Life. I'm your host, Willow Chang Alion, and it is the first Art of Life episode for 2015. So for those of you into the archival process, it's January 2nd. And I'm going to confess, I think it feels strange to start the new year on a Thursday. Like, I honestly don't know what day of the week it is, so I'm very grateful the show is today because it helps me put things into perspective. And that's what we're here trying to help you be able to find some tools to put things into perspective, to invite positive change into your life. I'm going to try to give Tony Robbins a run for his money. And look, this doesn't cost you a thing. So please tell your friends about our show. We have a Facebook page, and we also have a presence on YouTube as well as on the Think Tech Hawaii page. Now that I've said that, let's talk about one of the obvious things. It's a cone of wisdom. That is, life is change. I know, you're shocked. I hope you're sitting down. That's a hard one to swallow. But life is change. And I say that because as a person who is imbued with saudade, and I am a sentimental person, and as you know, I like to collect things, and I'm an old-timey kind of girl. I'm just a granny in disguise. This reality that life is change sometimes is very challenging for me, whether it's parting with old clothes, if it's, well, I can't say I've ever given a Christmas card a toss because I never have. But life is change. And the thing that I think will help you perhaps warm up to this idea is that life is also a series of choices. And when you come to this realization that you have often a choice in the matter, you then realize that you are helping write your own life story. What does that mean? Well, let's face it. Let's be a little direct here. Let's say you have two choices for a sandwich. You have bologna and you have tuna. And let's say you don't really like bologna or tuna. And you say, well, this sucks. I don't like bologna and I don't like tuna. I don't want either of these sandwiches. Aha. So you've asserted what your preference is. You know what the choices are. You can then choose. Are you going to eat? Are you going to ask for just bread? Are you going to make your own sandwich? Are you going to go out for soup? Everything is a choice, and life is nothing but a series of choices, and the only constant is change. So we can look at this new year as a great way to finally implement, or at least jumpstart some of the things we want to do change-wise. So let's look at the little list here. I write these on the back of junk mail because it's my small little way to save the earth. Now, don't get me wrong. My weakness is beautiful stationery. It's very hard for me to go into a stationery store, and I'll even throw Fisher into the mix. It's technically not a stationery store, but you put me in Fisher, this is no endorsement by any way, or Ben Franklin, or even if you go into Home Depot, places where you have tools where you can express your creativity, make things or fix things, and my heart rate just goes a little faster. But as much as I like beautiful things, sometimes you want to do something that's good for the earth. So you can write. How many of us get junk mail? My God, it's incessant, especially if you sign up for a magazine or if you give to a charity. The reality is they're going to keep sending you stuff asking for money. Yes, UH Foundation, I'm calling you out. So I write on the back of my Geico envelope because I like to make lists. It helps me keep focused for the most part. I never get through the whole list because I have a tendency to put too much on the list, but at least I'll categorize it into what needs to be done today, what kind of needs to be done in the next few days, what is like a long-term goal, or what needs to be done this week. And that helps me kind of keep things into a functioning perspective. I'm sure there's even better ways. Some of you like to use their phone. I don't want to have to spend I'm a pen and paper kind of gal. I know it's called Think Tech Hawaii, but different strokes for different folks. I think I might have a picture that if we can come back to like picture 4. So one of the things historically people like to do, we'll go for here. I pulled this off the internet, you might have heard of it. It says Grateful Jar 2014. I would have called it Gratitude Jar, that's just me. But basically it's saying, I'm not gonna make you read that copy. You get a jar of your choice. And I would say to make your life easier, have the notepad there or your little pieces of scrap paper. You can take those envelopes. You're like, what is this, the Great Depression? Save a tree. Cut out your pieces of paper, and every day you just write something down. It could be something that you're grateful for. You could say, I'm glad I have an opposable thumb. Think about it. It changes your life. You could say, I'm glad there are still fish in the sea and we haven't killed everything off. The terror. I'm glad for SPF 50. Whatever it is that you're happy for, you can write it down. This suggestion also said you can write about highlights. You can say, ooh, wow, red letter day, I got accepted into medical school. or Red Letter Day, I was able to donate my car to the Kidney Foundation, whatever it is. This is your highlight reel, so you're not relying on Facebook to pre-pick your photos and tell you what's important. You stuff that in the jar every day, and then at the end of 2015, you open it up and you say, hoo hoo, ha ha hee. Remember that when we took Grandma out snowboarding? Wasn't that a gas? So it sounds really hokey, but you know what? I think there is inherent value. There's got to be a reason why this thing floats around on Pinterest, and it's kind of cute, and you don't have to only do it for yourself. You can turn it into a family project. You could turn it into a classroom project. You could turn it into a work project. Oh my goodness, Jay might watch this, and then we might have to all write something down and stick it in the jar. I don't know, but you know, I think it's a good idea. That's why I'm passing it on to you guys. What's our next image? Work hard, dream big. Well, you know what? I think Americans, to generalize here, we have a pretty decent work ethic. We've often been accused of working too much and not vacationing enough. We're one of the industrial countries of the world that has the least amount of vacation time, paid vacation time. We very rarely have maternity leave for mothers or fathers who want to be involved in their children's upbringing. These are things that I personally think need to be addressed, but that's another show for another time. But you can't escape the reality is that you have to put in the work if you want something to happen. A car is not just going to self-start, even though there are probably scientists in Japan who've made that happen. The reality is that you have to be willing to put effort into something if you want it to come into fruition. That sounds really obvious, but just consider that a little kick to your okole. What's our next image? Take time to enjoy the simple things in life. That might be something like your favorite grilled cheese sandwich. That might be just unplugging the phone and not answering emails for a good 2 hours. Oh my goodness. It might be taking a small 10-minute walk on your lunch break. It might be enjoying the comforts of a hot washcloth on your face. Well, maybe not hot, let's say warm. A warm washcloth on your face at the end of the day. My dad was a big fan of that. It might be taking the time to write a handwritten thank you note to somebody who's done something really nice for you. There are many things that are simple, and everyone will have a different definition of a simple thing. But the simple things are kind of like the lubricant of what makes life enjoyable and smooth. So just give that some consideration. You don't want to lose sight of the simple things because there are infinite joys in the simple. Now we're moving right along. Doo-doo-doo. Now, you're like, what the hell is that about? Well, here it is. We spend a lot of time making these lists and planning in advance and saying, I'm going to go to Los Angeles in August, and then we have to take the kids to Disneyland, and we have to get the rental car, and there's beauty in that. I just talked about the working hard, right? Dream big. But you can't lose sight of the now, because when you live in the now, you are committed to fully experiencing what is unfolding at this moment. So again, everything is really a balancing act. There's nothing that's one size fits all. You can't only work hard. You can't only take it easy. You can't only plan. Living in the now is something that ideally everyone should try to do. And sometimes it's really hard. It's hard to live in the now. If you're thinking about, you know, oh, well, Mary in 3rd grade, she took my doll, and I'm still pissed about it. And every Christmas I think about how she took my doll. It's like, Mary would say, get over it. That was like 1,000 years ago. Find a way to cope with it. Use it as a opportunity to learn from it, to create from it, be at peace with it, have a ritual, and then let it go. Disney just made many dollars off of a song called Let It Go. And I'm sure there's a reason why people like that message. It holds value. So be in the now, if you can. Be in the now. Alrighty. You're like, what is this thing? Well, this is a picture of space, the final frontier. And this is about perspective. And when I think of perspective, and it's different for everybody, right? So I invite you to find the type of place that gives you perspective. For some people, it's stargazing. When you look at the stars, you might feel both exhilarated and very, very small, which I think is a great combination. For some people, they're turned on by the desert, the infinite vastness of the desert, whether that's, you know, the Sahara or the, Death Valley, whatever it is. Some people really love the vastness of the ocean. Some people are mountain people, not just little goats, right? Everyone is locked in and is drawn to a place that makes them feel this sense of awe with the universe, with nature, that might make them feel small and even insignificant. And even though it seems strange for me to say, hey, go out there and feel insignificant, what it does is it gives you an opportunity to put things into perspective. You are not the first nor last person with problems. This universe and this world is going to go on long after you are here, or me. And even though we are doing things that have injured the earth, the reality is the earth is going to kick our Okoli. She's going to be here long after humans are like wiped off the planet. That's not what I'm wishing for. But these things are like older than Methuselah. And when you put things into perspective like that, it hopefully will give you the energy to then look at something with a different set of eyes and to persevere and figure out what it is that you need to do. Or maybe to do nothing, because doing nothing is a choice. If you want to have your mind blown, you got to read the Tao Te Ching. That's all I'm going to say. I like the Stephen Mitchell version. That's just me. But as Machani said. Okay, you're like, what is this hand here? This is a hand that represents different meridians and corresponding points of the body that are pressure points with either acupressure or also acupuncture. And on a bigger idea, I would like for you to make a commitment to your own health, because if you are run down and if you are not taking care of yourself, then how the heck are you going to be a good mom, dad, nana, tutu, teacher, producer, student, or what have you? You have but one body. And even though there are many parts of our body that we can replace, you don't want to get into the habit of running yourself down where you have to replace your body. So you might want to consider something like taking a class, exercise, not to lose weight, not to get thin, not for the sake of having a six-pack ab, just to do it for community, just to do something to validate that you are of importance, that you celebrate your body, that you can be enamored with the things that your body is capable of doing, that you can learn new things at any point in your life. Maybe you want to see a massage therapist. When's the last time you had a regular health checkup and you peed into the cup and you had your blood tested? Do you have a thyroid issue going on? Are you like a diabetic in disguise? I mean, the body changes. Have you had your eyes checked? It's dangerous for you and everybody else if you can't see and you're behind the wheel. I know I sound like your mom, but hey, I'm entitled. I can be your second mom. Take the time to check out the wart on the bottom of your foot. Check out why you have shooting pain. Do you have carpal tunnel? Like, make this the year to invest in yourself. And you should never let money be the reason, because there are always providers and services out there that can accommodate anybody at any point of the spectrum. I say this having been on the lower side of the socioeconomic thing. Don't let my bling fool you, but I've gone to the public clinic. But you know what? Health is important, because when you have health, you also have peace of mind. You're not going to be running the machine in the back of your mind wondering if your tooth is rotting and it's going to give you a heart attack. So I was a big dental phobe, testify, and 3 years ago, after my filling fell out, TMI, I made the commitment to just go and deal with this tooth once and for all, because I understood that having a hole in my mouth is going to be a huge detriment to my overall health. And thank you, Dr. Adachi. I am now not a dental phobe, and now I'm not afraid to go to the dentist, and I feel a lot better, and I have peace of mind. And I'm honestly telling you that if I can go to the dentist, you can go to the dentist. It may not necessarily be fun, but when you find the right dentist, it's almost fun. You're like, fun to go to the dentist? Just don't think of Steve Martin. Don't think of Little Shop of Horrors, okay? Think about that. We have a commercial, and we will be right back. This is The Art of Life.
Hi, my name is Sachiko Slomov. I'm the floor manager of ThinkTech Hawaii here. You can join us on the air every weekday from 1 to 5, or off the air at thinktechhawaii.com. We stream all of our videos and all of our amazing, amazing shows ho, 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 at thinktechhawaii.com or on our Ustream channel. You can also check us out on Twitter at thinktechhi or Instagram at thinktechhi also. I'll be listening, and I hope to see you there. Thanks.
Camera 2, I love you, Camera 2. This is The Art of Life. We're talking about some ways to reboot your 2015, but let's be true and frank. Even if you listen to it and you're like, no, I can't cope with the dentist. No, I don't want to deal with my taxes. No, you know what? Watch it in August. You can restart at any point in the year. That's what's really beautiful. It's nice to start at the beginning of the year, but if you still have holiday hangover, you're dealing with bills, you want to just enjoy the last of your vacation, I understand that. Start it in, there's the beauty of a new year. You can start a new beginning at any point. And if you want to go and be tethered to a new year, you still have Lunar New Year's. You have Chinese New Year, you have Japanese New Year, you have Thai New Year, you have Persian New Year with Nowruz, and you're going to have New Year's from like basically now until April. So you can just kind of push that restart button whenever you see it. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it takes a few starts. You got to gun the engine a few times before the engine turns over. So please, no self-flagellation on my watch. Be kind to yourself. Let's look at this picture here. Dun, da, da. Okay, so this is a picture I took at my house, something I didn't pull off of the internet. And the idea behind this is, I always think it's a good idea to create something that is like an altar, or maybe you're more comfortable with the idea of a focal point. But historically, culturally, through time and space, people have created little altars within their home, whether that's a trifold thing that you carry in your pocket and you travel with, or you have a medallion, or you make offerings at a butsudan to your elders, or you have a kitchen god, or maybe you're all about the Grateful Dead and you're like, woo, Jerry Garcia. I don't know what it is, but the idea of creating a focal place that allows you to focus your energy and your intention with something that's of importance to you. So it's the same purpose, I think, of when you create a wish board. I don't know if that's what they call it, but maybe your goal is you want to travel. So you pick up a copy of Condé Nast Traveler or National Geographic, or you get pictures and you cut them out and you stick them on, or you put them on your desktop, or what have you. Make your small burnt offerings. But seriously, it's a beautiful thing. It's an important thing, and there's always the power of intention. And so it's like, what do you want to honor and give focus and priority in your life? Did you just lose a family member? Is grandma gone? Put a picture of grandma there. Offer her an orange or a Werther's or a candy or whatever it is. You don't have to always go to the cemetery. If you're not living in the same place, or her ashes were scattered or whatever, you don't have to physically go to a place to remember somebody. You can remember them and invoke their spirit wherever you are. So I invite you to do that. And it doesn't have to be big, and it can be private. If you want to hide it, if you want to put it in a cupboard, or like Narnia, you want it in a closet, or you want it in a shoebox, who's to say? Maybe you want to get one of your envelopes. You get a tri-fold envelope, because I just created that. I folded it 3 times. And you glue or draw your pictures, or you write a word, love, hope, faith, whatever. And look, et voila. You have your own little sacred place that you have with you. When I travel, I have a few things that I always take with me, and I prepare the room, and I always have something to keep me focused no matter where I am. So, and it doesn't have to be affiliated with any one specific practice. You're creating your own practice and asserting what's of importance to you. I need to scratch here because this has a little itch. The cure for anything is salt water. Sweat, tear, or the seas. Aren't we lucky in Hawaii that we have an abundance of ocean? We're on planet Yin. But seriously, I think it's a really beautiful sentiment to think about that. Notice they didn't say blood. They said sweat, tears, or the sea. And I think that is a very simple way to, again, reboot. If you're having, you need to gain focus or clarity, have a cry. I like to say tissues, not issues. Cry it out. Get those endorphins going. If all else fails, you can say you were thinking about E.T., right? phone home. It still moves me to this day. Whatever. You know what? Crying should not be something to be ashamed of. There is no reason to be ashamed to cry. And I have done it many times, many places. And you know what? The only thing that makes me sad is my mascara runs because I don't wear the waterproof stuff by choice. Oh my goodness. Well, we're running out of time, but let's see what a few of those images are, and I'll just tell you what they were. That is about compassion. I'm sorry this is blurry, but we always need a friend and we need a hug. Here's a monkey with a dove. If that doesn't get it across, I don't know what will. Light. Please give yourself illumination. Change up your websites, put on a new playlist, and also literally, like, light a candle, change your lighting. Don't live with ugly lighting fixtures or a junk toothbrush or books that don't inspire you. You know, there are many ways to change, and I hope that this helps you. And I also want to state that the emphasis is not strictly on changing, but when you are gaining that perspective, you can then make a decision of what stays and what's working for you, and then release what isn't working for you, and then bring in things that might be new and exciting. And here's the reality. Let's say you try something and you're like, this is not working for me. Like, I'm not a big necklace kind of person, or gosh darn it, I don't think I really like yoga. I think I want to do Tai Chi, or I want to learn flamenco. The thing is you may never know those things until you try. So the change is the process. It's part of the journey. And that's the whole reason why we're here. So on that note, I will bid you an aloha for now. We will see you next week. I'm excited because I'm in the process of contacting all of our various guests who are equally committed to change and preservation, creation, as well as editing. The Art of Life is a wonderful opportunity. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to share with you guys and to bring the guests on. And I hope you stay in touch and let me know what works for you. If you want to continue that dialogue and say what you're doing for change for 2015, let's keep it going and encourage each other. And to you, I say, Happy New Year, Ha'oli Makahiki Ho, Kung He Fa Choi, Sun Min Fai Lo, all that good stuff. And we will see you with what will be hopefully a very abundant year. Aloha.